Assalamualaikum to our panels, Madam Azina binti Abdul Hadi and Madam Nur Alina binti Azlan. My name is Nur Rehana binti Zainal Azlan. Today, we will present our final year project, which is Factors Influencing Society's Attitude Towards Rape Myths. Now, I will focus on the introduction. According to Malaysian law, rape is sexual intercourse without woman's consent or by force. Rape means acceptance defined as the justification for male sexual aggression with the attitude and reliance that victims are the wrong party. According to Women's Aid Organization, in 2017, there were 1,582 reported cases to the police, and most of the survivors are in the age of below 18 years old. In addition, rape survivors have to face reality after being raped and have to continue living their life with trauma. Rape can also result from injury, pregnancy, PTSD, and also depression. Social media is a website or application that used to communicate and share content with others. Social media can also be a platform where people share their opinions regarding rape. Usually, victims will share their stories by using the hashtag #MeToo, especially on Twitter. So, it is important to identify the factors in order to create awareness among Malaysians. Our objective for these studies are: first, to compare society's attitudes towards rape myths between gender, and the method that we use is independent Z test. Second objective is to identify the factors that influence the social attitude in relation to rape myths, and the method that we use is multiple linear regression. Next, I will continue to the literature review. Our literature review will focus on the factors that influence society attitudes towards rape myths. According to the literature review, we can conclude that all the factors, which is gender, living area, education level, age, and cultural factor, are affect the attitude towards rape myths. However, there are several studies that show a different outcome. For example, for living area, there is a study by Jaya Lakshmi that said that there is no significant difference in attitude between living area. And for cultural factor, there is a study by Carr said that Christianity was not associated with rape myths. And a study by Mulliken said that Hispanic, Black, and Asian are more accept rape myths compared to white people.
I'm Shazwani Norizati binti Saiful Izam would like to present about the research methodology for this study. First, the research design that we used for this study was causal research, since this study was conducted to identify the cause that affect one's attitude towards rape. The population for this study is in Selangor, since Selangor is one of the states with the highest number of rape cases in Malaysia. The population in Selangor was 9,528,100 people who live in Selangor, while the sample size was 284 people. The sampling method that we used was non-probability sampling, which was quota sampling, since it was quite difficult to obtain a complete sampling frame due to a large number of population. Since we use quota sampling, we have divided our sample into two areas, which were 50% for rural area and another 50% for urban area. We have selected Petaling to represent urban area, while Kuala Selangor to represent rural area. The respondents were selected using convenience sampling. The data collection method that we used for this study was self-administered questionnaire and online survey. These questionnaires were provided with a bilingual questionnaire to ease our respondents in answering our questions. There are two parts in this questionnaire, which were Part A and Part B. Part A consists of the demographic questions of the respondents, while Part B contains of 21 detailed questions about the attitude towards rape myths. We have done our pilot study on our last semester break, which was in February 2020, to test the validity of the questionnaire. This is our theoretical framework. There are 5 independent variables and 1 dependent variable included in this study. The independent variables was gender, age, living area, educational level, and also cultural factors. And our dependent variable was attitude towards rape myths. The variable type for gender was binary, age quantitative, living area binary, educational level categorical, and cultural factors also categorical. Next, I will present about the analysis and results for the study. First, testing the reliability of instrument. Based on the table, we can see that Cronbach alphas for both pilot study and actual study were over 0.7, which indicated that the questionnaire were reliable for both studies. Next, for our first objective, which was to test the difference in the in the attitude towards rape myths between male and female gender. Firstly, we have to check on the normality of the data using Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. Based on the table, we can see that the p-value for both gender were more than alpha 0.1, which indicated that this data for male and female data were normally distributed. To confirm the normality of the data, we use QQ plot. Based on the QQ plot, we can see that all points lie on the straight line, which also indicated that these data were normally distributed. Next, after we have determined that all assumptions on the independent Z-test were fulfilled, which were the data have to be large, which is more than 30. The data have to be independent of each other. The data were random sample and also normally distributed. We proceed with using this independent Z-test. Based on the table, we can see that the p-value for equality of means were more than alpha 0.1, which resulting in accepting the hash null. Hence, the result would be there is no significant mean difference in the attitude towards rape myths between gender.
My name is Najwa and I will be presenting on determining significant factors. First is checking the validity of model. Table on the left side showed the F-test output. P-value for both before and after transformation are less than alpha 0.1 means that model is significant. On the right side, R-squared value decreased after transformation with 2.6% of total variation can be explained by independent variable, while the balance of 97.4% is explained by other factors, which means that model does not fit the data well. Second is checking the adequacy of model. Relationship between dependent and independent variable is linear after transformation. Scatter plot on the right side showed that the points lie more closely to the straight line compared to the scatter plot on the left side. Homoscedasticity exists after transformation. Scatter plot on the right side showed that there is no pattern in the data and the points scattered between -2 and 2. Error terms of data is normally distributed for both before and after transformation since the points lie very much closely to the 45-degree straight line. The Durbin-Watson value for both before and after transformation lie in between 1.5 and 2.5, thus serial correlation does not exist. Third is detection of outliers. One observation was detected as outlying. Why? Since the studentized residuals value was more than absolute 3. 21 observations were detected as outlying X, since the leverage values were more than 2p over n, which is 0.1056. Then check on the influential cases. For large data sets, the F-its value must be more than 2 square root of p over n to be set as influential cases, or Cook's distance value more than absolute 4 over n minus k minus 1. 21 observations were found as influential cases and removed from the data. After the removal, the process repeated until no more influential cases were found. Lastly is multicollinearity. Multicollinearity existed before transformation. From this table, we can see that this tree value has TOL value less than 0.1 and VIF value of more than 10. From the p-value column, we can see that most of the variables have p-value more than 0.1, means that they are not significant. After transformation, multicollinearity does not exist, and only one variable is significant. In conclusion, there is no significant mean difference in the attitude towards red meat between male and female, and there is only one factor that affects society's attitude towards red meat, which is age. However, the results may vary due to sample size, variance, and experimental design. The drawback of this research is literature review, since most of the literature review were taken from more than 5 years ago, and most of it are not local. Then it may affect an individual's lifestyle. For future research purposes, it is recommended for the researcher to create new questionnaire, use larger sample size, and execute it in different location. Thank you. That is all from us.